I'm not dependent on punch power, you know. You know what, it takes a lot more than that to be a great fighter. A lot more than that to be a great fighter, so there's various ways I'll win. But I got the fighter spirit, and that's how I'll go in there and break him down with my spirit.
Sir, after this.
But he can't, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not even equipped to fight this dude. He's not. It's going to have to be a bunch of stuff in there. Joshua will punish this man.
It's impossible for somebody like Anthony Joshua, who is so big and so strong, to even think he's going to take it easy. Because even if he tries to take it easy, he's so powerful, so strong that even those punches that are being easy are still going to hurt.
At the press conference, Anthony Joshua warned Jake Paul, telling him he is mistaken if he thinks he can win. Joshua mentioned he is taking this fight mainly for the money, seeing it as just a job. He made it very clear that when they are inside the ring, he is the much better fighter.
Yeah, I deliver what I was supposed to deliver years ago. I deliver what they ran from. I deliver what he asked for $50 million for. I'm gonna give him a $50 million knockout.
I honestly listen to what people say sometimes. They're avoided, this person's running. I honestly think some people are deluded. Really, I do think that they've got some sort of a long-term concussion, because no one's running. In terms of 50 million, I'm a businessman. If there was 50 million on the table.
Chris Algieri explains that this fight offers Anthony Joshua a perfect chance to return to the ring. After being inactive since his last loss, Joshua can use this match to build back confidence and get his fighting rhythm back. The fight provides a way to earn a lot of money while keeping the risk low, almost like a controlled practice session. Algieri points out that Joshua wins financially, mentally, and physically, which makes this matchup a smart choice for his return.
What are we talking here? Like, it's going to be an exhibition? No, it's a fight. You're a heavyweight. You're calling out heavyweights. You're calling out a heavyweight. You're calling out Anthony Joshua, former world champion. You're calling him out on short notice. It's a fight. You're going to wear 10-ounce gloves and you're going to fight 10 rounds, and that's what it is. I don't understand any idea of anything else. Oh, it's going to be 8 twos? Is it going to be 15-ounce gloves? What the hell are we doing? This is boxing. You want to fight a real guy? You're fighting a real guy, which I am very respectful, and I respect the hell out of Jake Paul if he does step in the ring with Anthony Joshua. No matter what happens, kid's got balls of steel, and I applaud you.
Well, the reason I say we don't know yet, because Jake Paul has fought in his last fight with Gervonta Davis was going to be an exhibition. They had to do that because of the weight difference. This is still a weight difference here. I mean, Anthony.
No, there's not. No, it's not. It's heavyweight. It's the same weight class.
Well, what do you consider Jake Paul? Cruiserweight or heavyweight?
Heavyweight. How much did he weigh his last fight?
He's fought at cruiserweight. He's also fought at heavyweight. Against Tyson was at heavyweight. He was.
What was his last fight? He's a cruiser. He's a heavyweight.
What was his last fight?
It was
his last
Mike
fight was
Tyson.
at cruiser against Chavez. Whatever, you know what I mean. Like the reason Gervonta Davis fight.
He fought Chavez after Tyson. I guess Tyson was that long ago. Wow.
Yeah, it was a year ago. This week, I was looking at my Instagram memories. I was in Dallas, Texas, getting ready for me pooping my pants on Netflix. That was about a year ago. Exhibition. These are questions that are asked. These are questions that are attached.
Eddie Hearn explains that Anthony Joshua is definitely interested in fighting Jake Paul, but they must approach it carefully because Paul acts in ways you cannot predict. Hearn notes that Jake has often agreed to opponents, then canceled or delayed fights at the last minute, making planning very hard. Because of this, Joshua's team is ready for any sudden changes while they keep training and preparing. Hearn stresses that if Paul is truly serious about the fight, it offers Joshua a huge chance to earn money, potentially one of the biggest paydays ever. The promoter also emphasizes the need to balance excitement with carefulness, ensuring Joshua can benefit from the fight without facing needless problems. Hearn's thoughts highlight the need for both readiness and patience, as Paul's unpredictable nature means they must be managed carefully. The goal is to secure the fight while protecting Joshua's career and getting the most money possible.
Jake Paul news seemed to come to a surprise for many. How close are we to making that fight, Eddie?
Not that close. I mean, there are conversations. There's a lot of hurdles to overcome. But if he's serious about the fight, and if it can get made, there's a very good chance we'll do it.
Is it on Netflix, and what did DAZN have to say of the fact that it made?
One of the hurdles to overcome. But we were going to have an 8-round run out in December. Just so happens it might be against Jake Paul.
Have you spoke to Nikisa? I know you're not friends with him. What other conversations you've had?
That's who we're talking about, you know. And if they're serious and if it's real, there's a good chance. But listen, we could wake up tomorrow and he's announced another opponent and he just used AJ's name for clout. Listen, I have to respect him if he takes the fight, but who knows?
What do you think Dana White will make of this fight?
I mean, he did Mayweather against McGregor. He doesn't like Jake Paul. I really couldn't care less what he thinks about the fight. AJ's going to make close to or around a career high payday, and we'll take
Paulie Malignaggi stresses that Anthony Joshua will treat this fight very seriously, even if it is called an exhibition. He notes that Joshua has never underestimated any opponent in his career. When he steps into the ring, he will use his full focus, power, and boxing technique. Malignaggi highlights that Joshua's discipline, timing, and ring smarts let him find chances to attack and punish mistakes easily. Ryan Garcia agrees, saying that even if Joshua fights with less force, his natural strength and accuracy still make his punches very dangerous. Both analysts emphasize that Jake Paul is facing a real physical danger, and the fight cannot be taken lightly, even with all the hype. They stress that Joshua's experience against top heavyweights means he can control how fast and close the fight is. Analysts agree that Paul will need to show both strategy and toughness, as Joshua's skills create a high-risk situation where any mistake could have major consequences. The talk confirms the fight needs respect and preparation from both boxers.
Bag now. And if you listen to this, it's definitely out of the bag.
Yeah, Fight for 84, big boxing movie that's hitting Netflix soon about the Olympic 84 team starring Jamie Foxx and Chris Algieri.
I am not starring in anything, but whatever. Yeah, no, I got a credit. I'm in it. I got some lines. So
that's amazing. That is so cool. I mean, this couldn't get any cooler. You're now in the movie, which is absolutely absurd.
Yeah,
what a day.
Hopefully,
what a life.
Hopefully, maybe there'll be more of this. Who knows?
I think it's just the beginning. I think this podcast is numbered. Our days are numbered.
No way. I'm never letting this go, Dan. This is. I'm a ride or die.
I hope you get so big and become such a big actor that you are like delaying production because you have to film our podcast in your trailer.
Chris is in his trailer. Wait, he's got to finish his podcast with Dan.
They're like, who's Dan? Johnny Drama style.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, just
when he was on the set
total
for
diva. Just total diva in every way possible.
Yes. Like we said, this episode is brought to you by ppv.com. December 6th, we're going to see Pitbull Cruz versus Lamont Roach. And guess what? We're going to talk to Lamont Roach on this episode. I caught up with Lamont and to get his thoughts on the fight with Pitbull, to get his thoughts on Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, which we're going to get to in a second, to get his thoughts on 140, potentially fighting at 135. That's coming up in just a little bit with Lamont Roach. Don't forget to order that fight with us at ppv.com and all the good stuff that comes along with that. That's December 6th. Lamont Roach is an awesome interview. Great guy.
Awesome guy. Forget the interview. He's just a good dude. I told you to tell him what's up. You probably didn't.
He said what's up. He goes, where is he? I said, he's on a movie set. He goes, oh, yeah. He's got those movie star looks.
See, that's what I get. But yeah, no, he's a good dude. We see him. He trains down in Florida now. He's over at the Pro Box TV training facility, so we get to see him down there training. He's whipping on all the guys over there. But good people, good dude. Good. His dad's awesome. His brother Jordan's great. He's another one to look out for. I think is he a flyweight? I think he's a flyweight coming up, or a bantamweight. But yeah, great family, good boxing family, great boxing heritage.
Yeah, and I can't wait for that mega card. Big card December 6th, and he's the headliner. So we're going to get to him in a second. Some big news broke. Shocking news. According to Ring Magazine, Anthony Joshua is going to step in for Gervonta Davis and fight Jake Paul. We don't know yet if it's an exhibition. We don't know yet the rules set. We don't know the date. These are preliminary talks that are ongoing. Yes, I work for MVP.
Dave Allen criticizes the idea that Anthony Joshua should avoid fighting Jake Paul just because the match is seen as unusual or only for entertainment. He points out that Joshua is still in top physical shape. Unlike retired fighters who might be slow or weak, Joshua still has all the skills needed to win easily in the ring. Allen stresses that fans often don't take these fights seriously, seeing them only as a show. But the truth is that Joshua's fitness, strength, and skill make him a very tough opponent. The commentary emphasizes that this fight is not just about putting on a show. Joshua's training and experience mean he can force his plan onto any opponent. Allen also highlights the difference between what people think and what is real, warning that casual fans might wrongly judge the risks Jake Paul faces. The matchup needs respect, focus, and recognition of Joshua's high-level boxing skills, no matter the surrounding hype.
Some of it was probably shouldn't be licensed, but Florida are very kind of easy commission to get. Yeah, it'll be called an exhibition.
It will be an exhibition.
It probably will be called an exhibition.
What's the point?
For me, as long as that fight you mentioned just now, Spencer, as long as that roadmap is there and it's signed, that he fights an interim guy as a warm-up afterwards and fights Tyson Fury next year, and Fury's on board, I'm great with it. Otherwise, I do think his legacy's damaged if his last fight is with Jake Paul.
An exhibition is a waste of time. They're for retired fighters. For retired fighters, it's a load of rubbish.
Yeah, listen, the guy's still in his athletic prime. I personally don't see the reason why they can't just do the Tyson Fury fight. Why do we need interims?
Well, we all want that.
Yeah, but why do we need interims? Why do we need warm-ups? We're talking about two experienced guys who've been the best, as you just said, of the last 10, 20 years. Let's get the fight on.
It's as ridiculous as Gervonta Davis going in with him, basically, isn't it, with Jake Paul, frankly?
Those different mindsets, and what, again, listening to Eddie today and what he was saying, the damage that Anthony Joshua suffered mentally, not physically, because physically he's still all there, but mentally against Daniel Dubois, he needs to go through that process again. And they said, and that's just the whole getting your hands wrapped up, doing it, whether it's Jake Paul, whether it's a top 100 fighter, you go, that's the way Anthony Joshua ticks. He needs that before going into the... All roads lead to Fury, right? We all know that. Whether Fury...
Analysts note that Jake Paul is facing a fighter who is closer to his current competition level, unlike the older or retired boxers he has fought before. While this gives fans the challenge they wanted, it also increases the physical risk for Paul. Commentators stress that health and safety are still a worry because Joshua's skill, power, and experience are much higher than anything Paul has faced. The matchup is good in terms of competition, but it is dangerous because of the possible physical harm it could cause.
Maybe even bigger than the Mike Tyson fight. It's hard to say, really. Tyson was a big name, but it's going to do numbers regardless because Joshua is a big name, and then people are going to be tuning in to see Jake Paul get knocked out. Right now, Eddie Hearn talks about Jake Paul taking this Joshua fight.
I mean, my estimations of Jake Paul would go through the roof if he signed to fight Anthony Joshua, because I just can't believe in my mind that he would do something like that. I mean, Gervonta was a smart one because of his size. Like, you know, I think actually he would have had a lot of success against Jake Paul, but the size is a problem. But this would just be, you know, like if Jake Paul was to take the fight with AJ, you'd really have to maybe carry his balls in a wheelbarrow on the ring walk, you know, because AJ wouldn't mess around in there, you know. So it would be huge, but nothing to tell you it's close, just a few conversations so far.
Damn right, if Jake Paul takes this fight, he's got some major balls on him. And I know people hate influencer boxing, but come on, he's not fighting an old, retired, past the prime MMA fighter. No, he's fighting a legit boxer who's massive, 6'5", 6'6", jacked, 240, 250 pounds, shredded, power puncher. Do we need to remind ourselves of what Joshua did to Francis Ngannou? Francis Ngannou was coming off a pretty good performance over Tyson Fury. He didn't get the win in that fight, but you could argue that he did actually win that fight. And Ngannou, throughout his entire MMA career, in 4-ounce gloves, very rarely got hit. He could take a punch. He's got a big, fat African head. Big, thick neck, traps, back. He just can't really be hit. And look what Joshua did to Ngannou. Out cold. So what do you think Joshua is going to do to Jake Paul? Jake Paul better start loading up on that Trenbolone. He needs to start eating Anavar like Skittles.
Analysts stress that Anthony Joshua's achievements as an Olympic gold medalist and former heavyweight champion make him an extremely dangerous opponent, no matter the fight situation. They emphasize that his combination of technical skill, power, and experience is different from any fighter Jake Paul has ever faced. Joshua's ability to understand his opponent, change his plan during the fight, and land accurate, powerful punches means that even small mistakes by Paul could be severely punished.
Olympic gold medalist, unified champion at the heavyweight division. He is 6'6", 250 pounds. And also, I do think...
Oh, my God.
I do. No, Jake Paul 6'1", about 220. I want to say this, though. I think Anthony Joshua He's made stupid money in his career, dumb money in his career. I don't think he's going to be in a position to be accepting BS terms with Jake Paul if this is really what's going to end up happening. I think we're actually going to get to see Jake Paul against a former heavyweight champion of the world. Do I think that's a smart idea? Absolutely not. For Jake Paul, do I think it would sell? Absolutely. Do I think it'd be very interesting and people would tune in to see if he gets his head knocked off? Absolutely. I genuinely, I hate to say it.
Experts note that this fight is far from easy. It demands full focus, preparation, and respect for Joshua's skills. Analysts also highlight Joshua's physical traits, his reach, strength, and fitness, which give him a clear advantage in controlling the fight's speed and distance. Paul, though confident, enters a ring where underestimating a former world champion could lead to serious problems. Commentary emphasizes that Joshua's past fights against top heavyweights have sharpened his timing, defense, and ring smarts, making him able to win easily, even against an unusual style. The discussion stresses that this match is a serious test of Paul's skills, and Joshua's elite status ensures the fight will be very competitive and strategically difficult.
He probably sees what Alexander Usyk, who's now the undisputed, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time now after beating all these guys. He was a smaller guy, went up, he's like 6'2", 6'3", about 200 pounds at first. Now he's probably sitting at about 220, 230. Similar size to Jake Paul. Yeah. Went up and beat all these guys. Granted, Usyk, greatest amateur boxer at that weight class ever. I think it's going to be interesting, but I do think Jake Paul is in a good position.
The only fear is this.
I hate to give him credit.
If Jake Paul gets his block knocked off completely.
Yeah, very possible.
The Jake Paul experiment is over. It's a wrap. Because if you step into the ring, everybody thus far is wondering and has wondered, like, what would happen versus a legitimate boxer?
Yeah.
And in their relative shape. Not a 50-year-old Floyd.
Yeah.
Not a 60-year-old Mike. We've all asked ourselves, well, what happens if you fight a real fighter? The problem is, once you fight a real fighter and you get beat down, the hypothesis is gone. So now we don't need to wait to see the experiment. Y'all know what we do every year. We say the best college team could beat the worst NFL team.
Yeah,
and it's
nasty.
a fun debate.
Yeah.
If you don't really know ball, if you don't really know ball though, you'll be like, man, but if 10 players on Georgia would start for the Cleveland Browns right now. But if they actually...
Adam Oladipo highlights that this fight is one of the biggest, attracting huge attention from fans and the media. He points out that Anthony Joshua's status as a former heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist adds belief and excitement, creating a matchup that is highly awaited worldwide. Fans are especially eager to see action and a potential knockout, which increases the fight's intensity. Oladipo notes that Joshua's skill, experience, and power make him a tough opponent, ensuring the fight will be taken seriously, not just as entertainment. The combination of Joshua's reputation and Paul's popularity creates massive interest, making the fight a major talking point across boxing and mainstream audiences. The high anticipation, media coverage, and fan talk all confirm the importance of this clash.
And this is, for Jake Paul, a much bigger fight than fighting Gervonta Davis. And I mean bigger, not just in the sense of who he's fighting and the size of AJ, I mean bigger in terms of numbers. Like Jake Paul versus AJ does way bigger numbers for me than Gervonta versus AJ. I think this actually does bigger numbers than Terence Crawford versus Canelo. I really do. I think this is, again, if it makes money, it makes sense. Let's talk about the negativity. And look, I get it. Like, if you're like me, I still believe, and look, some might say, well, AJ's just going to pick up, who knows what the numbers are, 80, 100 million, right? And then continue on his trajectory or career to potentially become a world champion again. I don't like this pause, if this is just me. I still believe that AJ can do damage in the heavyweight division. I believe that. Again, some people are like, no, he's done. Okay, cool. I believe that AJ can do damage again. I look at the heavyweight division and I remove Alexander Usyk from it, and I'm like, AJ can beat a lot of those guys. So I like the idea of AJ staying busy and having real fights against real heavyweights. So I'm not a fan of this pause, especially considering that we've not seen AJ in the ring since September 2024. It's a long time. It's a long, long time. So if AJ has this fight, we're not going to see AJ in the ring properly until the spring. It's a long, long time. If AJ was busy, and then had this fight in between, I guess I wouldn't be too mad with it. I get it, right? If someone knocks on your door and says, do you want to fight Jake Paul for 100 million? You're like, you'd be stupid to say no. No, I don't want that 100 million for what would be and will be. And
that's all for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.